Christmas has come early on Salvage Nation, and in this video I'm taking delivery of my imported cars from Japan because they have finally arrived in the UK. So Merry Christmas to one and all. Welcome to the SN Christmas special. Yes boys, Merry Christmas. Welcome to the SN Christmas special and welcome to Liverpool. Now if you're thinking, why am I so far away from home? That's because, like the title says, my cars, which I purchased over in Japan when I visited there 3 months ago, have finally arrived and they're somewhere in this yard. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, check this out. So a few months ago, I took the trip of a lifetime and traveled to Tokyo, Japan. I visited one of the largest salvage auctions and I showed you how the salvage culture in Japan works. After exploring the city, we went back to the auctions and I made 2 purchases. In England, they're not giving you the key to the M3 to come test it out. I was so excited, so I got the cars back to my shippers over in Japan. I ended up winning a 2024 Porsche Taycan Turbo S for 4 million yen. This car only covered 3,000 miles and it had a top spec. The second car I won was this 2018 Audi S4 with minimal damage, a top spec yet again, red heated and massaging seats, heads-up display, carbon fiber everywhere. The specification on this car just made it very unique. And once I left Japan, both cars were loaded into a container and shipped all the way to the UK. So boys, I hope you're up to speed. I'm definitely up to speed. I've just left the office and I've got both my keys for the Audi S4 and have a look at this bad boy. My 2024 Porsche Taycan Turbo S. This thing's gonna be so sick. So I was actually quoted 800 quid to come down and get these cars by several recovery drivers. And I thought to myself, I'm not paying £800. I rented the trailer and here I am down in Liverpool. I stayed over last night. We're gonna get these bad boys loaded up. Well, we're gonna get one of them loaded up. This one, if you remember in the previous video back in Japan, the S4 has got some damage to the rear suspension. And I thought to myself, why am I gonna pay 400, 500 quid for someone to put this on a recovery truck when I can just bring the parts with me, bring some trade plates and drive it all the way back? So we're getting stuck in right here in the car park. This is the Salvage Nation Christmas special. Strap in boys, because it's going to be spicy and hopefully we make it all the way back to the south coast. Let's get started. So let's see how the battery has held up, and just as it sounded in Japan, this S4 still sounds amazing and started right up. Yeah buddy. So boys, the last time I saw these cars, we were in Japan, Tokyo, Japan to be exact. The Audi S4 was running and driving, so I'm pretty confident that once I sort out the suspension damage, this car shouldn't be any issues. This one, on the other hand, the Porsche has got a lot more damage, but it's also clean. What is this? Feels like paperwork, service history, stuff like that. I don't know, I'll check it out. And you see, they're so honest in Japan. If you remember in the video as well, my boy Mo hooked me up with the official Porsche wall charger, and just as we left it in the car in Japan, it's still present. Let's see if there's any life to the car yet again. Nah, it's completely dead. But we'll sort that out, man. I'll sort that out once I get back. I just need to get this loaded. So the boys with the forklifts, they're a little bit busy, so they've told me to wait. So whilst I wait for these, let's go ahead, get my tools. I've come prepared. If we cannot sort out this damage, this car's driving nowhere, and that means that I'm gonna have to leave it, which I don't intend to. So let's get it jacked up, get started. So I thought I would be waiting a little while, but as soon as I started to offload the tools and the parts, boys with the forklift turned up to load up the Porsche. So I have to take a pause on that and get this Porsche loaded up. Bit that way. It's crazy to think that a few months ago, this car was sat in Tokyo, Japan, and it's now heading to the SN garage. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah, boy, we got a This is moving at a very high pace, but we've got the Porsche loaded onto the trailer, so we can take a pause on that and jump back onto the S4. What? So I had a massive checklist of items that I wanted to ensure that I brought with me, and of all things, I forgot to bring a jack. But luckily, there was one in the boot of the car, so it just means there's a little more work for me, but I've got everything I need. Time to get changed and actually get a little bit dirty. So boys, just like we found out when I was in Japan, it's literally just one of these wishbones at the rear that's damaged. In this box, I went ahead and I ordered the complete corner. This is the wishbone in question. So for now, just to get us home, I'm gonna remove this bolt, get this off of here and just replace the one that's on the car. Hopefully that should straighten up everything. But as a precaution, I have got everything in this corner and I will be replacing the lot later on. I brought all my tools, so I'm very prepared. Can't be stuck in Liverpool. We have to get this sorted. Ooh. So here I've got the replacement part in hand and I'm trying to get the damage equivalent off the car, but I'm running into some issues. Boys, hold on. Before we continue, I've got something very important to share with a very special person. Now, I've just received a very important message, and this goes out to Ellie Gibson in Caution. Yes, you. Your hubby, Mr. Eric Thompson, has asked me to deliver this message because some things are better said out loud. And trust me, you're gonna be screaming out loud in 2 seconds. You and Eric found each other when you least expected it. And you guys didn't have much hope of finding true love. You stayed in the wet, you stayed in the cold. Throughout all of that, it was all smiles. You laughed throughout. You were there for each other. You've been there for him, you've listened to him, and when he needed someone to lean on, he was able to lean on you. And he's told me that he's known for a while that you were the person that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, not just for the short term, but forever. So, Ellie, will you marry him? He wants to marry you, man. Turn to him, kiss him, and just say yes. Everyone get in the comments and spam, say yes. This could be the first SN marriage. Let's go. Merry Christmas. So boys, nothing is ever simple, man. So this end, super easy, but this is the end that's connected to the rear subframe, and I've just removed the nut from one end, but the bolt is actually touching up against the body. There's not enough space to remove the bolt. That's all I need to do, remove the bolt so I can drop this out. So I think I've got to drop the rear subframe. We shall overcome it, man. We got to keep it moving. Merry Christmas. Hey, little bit of persuasion from the persuasion stick, and this is gonna come out. Oh, boys, oh my God. Okay, have a look at that. She's a little bit, ooh. Obviously, that's what it's supposed to look like. You can see the clear difference there. I'm gonna go ahead and swap over this. That looks like a 10 mil. This is just for the rear level sensor, clips onto this. So just as it is there, stick that back in like so. Then all I need to do, slide that back in, like that. And you can see this is a lot more straight, so that should push that wheel all the way back. This entire hub should go all the way back to the correct alignment. So boys, what I'll do, not to bore you, I'll get all of this buckled up and then we should be able to hit the road. I've got to do a few bits on the Porsche first, but yeah, I'll catch up with you once this is all buckled up. I've spent a lot more time than I expected. I've got to be back by 4. It's now 9:30, so I've spent half an hour more than I planned to. But the damage control arm has been replaced, and if my calculations are correct, when I put this wheel on, it should be a lot more straighter, and we should be able to drive the car. If it's still bent, then I'm gonna have to leave this because I'm out of time. Come on, darling. Cameraman, how's it looking? You looking straight? It's looking a lot straighter from here, but let's see. I'm liking the look of that. Feeling positive. Let's see how it looks with the weight on it. Oh, come on. It's definitely a lot more straighter than it was. I just need it to get me home. I've got the complete corner if anything else is damaged, but it's looking promising. So with that, the wheel's looking a lot straighter. I'm spending a bit of time to test drive the car, check the oil, check the brakes, everything that is needed to drive me 293 miles all the way back to the South Coast. And I am happy to say that it's all good. I was very happy, and now it's time to turn my attention from the S4 back to the Porsche. I need to strap this bad boy down, and we need to hit the road because I need to be back at 4 p.m. to collect my little one from school. So boys, we've got the Porsche all buckled down. The S4 is driving, so it feels like Christmas has come early here at Salvage Nation. These alloys are so wide. The strap hasn't got enough length to get all the way around them. I can't remember what size they are, but these bad boys are wide. Anyway, I've got it all buckled down and we are getting ready to get out of here. It is a 4-hour drive back to the unit. You're seeing this Essen Christmas special. I hope you're having a good day. Right, let's get back. So I'm making my way from Liverpool back to Sussex, and as you can see, the S4 is driving without a hitch. That repair seems to be all good. I've got the Porsche all loaded up. We were doing well for time until I saw the S4 pull up. I asked my brother what was going on, but it turned out to just be a toilet break. So we just made our way right on time. I pulled up outside little man's school, surprised him in the Porsche before making it all the way back to the Essen garage, where we have finally got our Japanese imports in hand. It's time to offload this thing and get to work. Okay boys, so it's the next morning and man, that was a hell of a journey yesterday. However, I'm happy because I've got both my Japanese cars here at the Essen garage, and now this is the plan. So this Audi is a straightforward repair. As you can see, it's got some damage to the rear quarter. I will be repairing that later on, but the Porsche is a different kettle of fish. Look at all this damage. I need to get the car to run, but first, the Audi has thrown up an issue. So guys, we're in the S4 and it made the journey all the way back from Liverpool, which is around 300 miles. It made it back. However, it feels a bit like deja vu. If you watch one of my recent videos, when I brought in the previous S4, I drove it all the way back and the next morning the car stopped boosting. Well, the same things happen here. This is the second Audi S4 from Japan that I've imported, and on the first drive in the UK, something pops and it loses all boost. Now on the previous car, the case was the N75 valve, which is a tiny boost controller, and I'm assuming it's the same thing. So that car's here with me as well. What I'll do is I'll remove the replacement valve that I purchased that fixed that issue, fit it to this car, and see if that fixes this issue. But I'm wondering if the difference in elevation or the difference in the conditions in Japan versus the UK is causing this issue. If anyone knows what it could be, let me know. However, it's weird. This is the second car and the same things happen. It's interesting. If you think you know what's going on, drop a comment and let me know. Now boys, I've literally just removed the engine cover. I'm just setting up the tripod. I was gonna stick you on a time lapse, and then I looked over here and I saw this. Like, why would this be unplugged? It looks like it's onto the, is that the turbo? No, the turbo's up here. There's some sort of valve, something or someone went messing around. Just get that all plugged in. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. But let's do a quick test and see if it's boosting. So quick diagnostic test and we're hitting the roads. So let's see boys, heads up display, don't know if you can see that. This one is, compared to my last one, spec is crazy. Heads up display, everything's working, but let's see if it's boosting. Oh, she's definitely, she is definitely boosting. Right, nothing more, let's head back. I need to make a phone call. Hello mate, it's D from Salvage Nation. I was there this morning, remember? Yeah. I put in the order for that N75 valve for the Audi S4. But I've just found it was a loose connection. It was a connection, so I need to cancel that.
Yeah, no worries, not a problem. All right.
So boys, that was an easy fix. I wish they were all that easy to fix. Speaking of being easy, my Porsche. This is not going to be easy to fix. So what I want to go ahead and do is strip down this scuttle panel, access the 12 volt battery there, get that out, get that on the charge, and I want to do some diagnostics and see if I can reactivate the 48 volt high voltage, whatever it's called, high voltage system, so we can get this thing moving under its own power and move it into the garage. So guys, with the scuttle panel removed, I've got access to the weirdest 12 volt battery I've ever seen. A tiny little cube, and it's solid. I don't understand. It's solid in there. So I need to do a bit of research on how to get that out. I want to stick it on the charge, but before I can do that, I need to get all of this off so I can see the sticker and understand what type of battery this is and if it is actually safe to charge. So before I continue with that, I want to do some diagnostics. Now guys, I preempted that whilst working on a £100,000 Porsche Taycan EV, I'm gonna need something serious when it comes to diagnostics. So I've got a copy of the official Porsche diagnostic tool, which is PWIZ, and I've got the full connector. I tested it out whilst I was in Barbados on the Porsche over there. It worked a treat, so I'm hoping it does the same thing. I'm gonna do a full diagnostics, and hopefully that can tell me exactly why the high voltage system has been shut down and how I can turn it back on. Okay guys, so it's the next morning, and as you can see, I managed to get the Porsche in the garage, and that can only mean one thing. I got it running, I got the high voltage system activated. Now, this is a big thing. I've been told by a lot of you lot so many different things. One guy in particular said, you should be able to just reset the crash data with your diagnostic tool. Another guy says, I have to drop the battery because there's a massive pyro fuse at the top of the battery. Another guy said there's a pyro fuse in the front engine bay area. But all I ended up doing last night was I stayed really late. I used my Porsche diagnostic software. There was tons of crash data within the high voltage battery system and also the gateway system. Once I hit reset crash data in both of those modules, the car came up, it said ready, and it was able to be driven very slowly right into the garage. I want to remove that broken front wheel. I want to try to get the car on the charge. It's saying that the 12 volt battery, which is lithium, is low. So I need to get this thing on the charger. However, I'm facing an issue where it's telling me that the charge port doors are impaired. So let's go ahead, start to tear down some more of this damage and see if we can figure anything out. That doesn't sound too good. Boys, the size of these brakes, carbon ceramic brakes. Can't see any damage to this disc, which is good news because these things are super expensive. Severe damage to that suspension strut, but everything else looks pretty okay here. So after a quick once over, is back to this lithium battery. And whilst I was there, I noticed a coolant leak, so I'm removing the front tub to see if I can identify any further damage. Now with the tub removed, you can see how important coolant is to an EV vehicle. Look at all of these coolant pipes, so I'm glad I was able to identify that coolant leak and hopefully I can get that sorted. As I'm getting deeper into the teardown process, I'm just activating this safety switch. This isolates the high voltage system and that protects me from getting the shock of my life. So boys, now that we've got the space and I can see exactly what's happening here in terms of damage, I'm excited, but I'm a bit gutted at the same time. Have a look at that. I didn't think this was gonna be this bad. It's all like, come on. And this is aluminium. Like, it's so light, it's Ali. So there's gonna be a lot of aluminium welding involved in this build. But I don't know how I feel about this section. Have a look here. So all of this I can replace, no problem. I can go pick up a replacement top finch, separate it at the seams, no issue. I was really concerned about this point right here. This is where the suspension mounts onto the car, and I thought this might have shifted. However, I'm actually feeling positive about this. If you look at this brace, there's no damage to this brace. So that means that this entire area hasn't shifted and it's just cracked right here. Like I said, it's aluminium. So I will be getting an entire chassis corner right here, and I'll leave it to a professional welder to figure out exactly what we need to cut, where we're gonna join it, and I'll just go ahead and fit this entire new chassis top finch. We're not out of the woods yet. I wanna have a look in there to see if there's any more structural damage. Fingers crossed, we should be all right. What I noticed down here earlier is this air suspension strut is completely, it's finished. Like, have a look at that, it's completely creased in. When you switch the ignition on, you can hear the air is leaking from this, and that's because this is completely busted. Like, just have a look at that, it's not good. So what I'll do is I'll copy this part number, I'll go online and try to get a replacement. Down here, there's no major damage to the control arms down here. It's just got some little scuff marks there, but I can't see any issues, but I'll know more once I dive into that portion of the build. The next thing I need to do is I need to remove this battery, because this is a lithium 12-volt battery that is specifically made for this car. It fits into this spot, and I've just come off the phone with Dennis from Lux Automotive. When these cars get into an accident, everything is computerized these days, so there's actually a circuit board computer chip at the top of that lithium battery, and that's why the car is behaving as if it's dead. The battery may not be dead, however, the BSM on the battery has locked the cells. The BSM is locked, so it's not outputting any current at the moment. And to fix that, I need to get this battery out, get it down to Dennis at Lux Automotive, and he's got a very special technique to unlock the cells of my lithium battery. So that's what we're gonna do. So boys, there you have it. It's a tiny, cubed, lithium 12-volt battery. Like, these batteries are getting smaller and smarter with every year that passes on all these new cars. But it's time to get this down to Lux Automotive over in East London. And whilst he takes care of this, I want to go ahead and do some more diagnosing on this lovely Porsche Taycan. So I went ahead and I sent that battery to Dennis from Lux Automotive. He done his thing. Here's a quick preview, but you're gonna have to stay tuned for the next video to see how that all went. We'll be breaking it all down. In the meantime, however, I went ahead and I used some extra wires and connectors that I had lying around, and I've converted the Taycan to run from a regular AGM 12-volt battery. Just in the meantime, in case I need to move the car in and out of the garage, but also I want to go ahead and do some more fault finding. I want to test all the fuses. With all that damage over there, broken wires, I'm pretty sure I'm going to find some damaged fuses, and then I'll just wrap it up by doing a bit more diagnostics. We got the high voltage system back online. We got the car running. The Porsche build is well and truly on the way. What do you think of the car? What do you think of the build? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think the damage is too much? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be looking out to see what you guys think. So I'm removing the damaged AC cooler, which was responsible for the coolant leak. I removed both ends of the coolant pipes, close that circuit, and that will prevent the coolant from leaking out any further. Then I can go ahead and order a replacement part. But boys, there we have it. After a little bit of hard work, I have got the Porsche Taycan running and driving under its own power, and that's what I set out to do at the beginning of this video. I've made a parts list, I've got all the part numbers, and now this thing is ready to be rebuilt, and we're doing it right here on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed to see how we get on. It's not going to be easy, but I'm sure with your help I can get there, and I can't wait to drive this thing. So there you have it. Both the cars from Japan have made it to the Essen garage. There's tons of work to do on this Porsche. I need to figure out how I'm gonna sort out all of this chassis damage here. There's so much more. So in the new year, be on the lookout for building a Porsche Taycan from Japan series. That's gonna be starting soon. We've got the Audi, we managed to sort the Audi, and I'll be sticking both of my Audis from Japan up for sale. So if you're interested, drop me a DM on Instagram. But for now, boys, I hope you're eating, I hope you're drinking, and I hope you're merry. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will see you in the next one. So like I always say, keep it moving, drink lots of rum, drink lots of beer, whatever your vice is, just have fun today, have fun for the rest of the year, and I'll see you in the new year. Have a nice one. Boys, in the next video, I'm heading back to Bridgetown, Barbados, and we're turning up a notch. Boys, this is one of my day ones, you know. We going home. Boys, we just landed. We rolling deep. Rolling deep indeed. I'm heading back home. I've got to sort out the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. I've got to sort out the BMW, the Mercedes. Do you know how crazy this is? Cousin, we got to tell the people. What do you think of the Porsche?
Wonderful, man.
Yeah? And I might be getting my hands on a couple of new rides. We're meeting my family. Boys, you are not gonna wanna miss this Salvage Nation in Barbados Part 2 coming soon.